When it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Kaitlyn Clark was there.
This is a fake one-sided rivalry. We got Angel Reese taking more shots at Kaitlyn Clark unnecessarily. You in Indiana having a great time partying. We see all the clips. Why can't you just do your thing? Why can't you just do your thing?
The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Kaitlyn Clark was healthy.
Angel Reese didn't just release a shoe, she tried to make a statement. She launched the Reebok Walk in Your Trap, Take Over Your Trap campaign right in Indiana, Kaitlyn Clark's territory. That wasn't accidental, it was targeted, aggressive, and calculated. But the big moment she envisioned, it flopped. The turnout was embarrassingly small, the energy was off, and fans didn't rally around her like she expected. Instead of sparking buzz, it sparked backlash. It didn't feel like a celebration, it felt like she was trying to claim a crown that wasn't hers to take. And the public wasn't having it. Instead of cheering on Reese's takeover, fans called it out for what it was, a cheap shot during a moment when Clark couldn't respond. With Kaitlyn sidelined due to injury, Reese rolled in with bold promo material and tried to own the weekend. But fans immediately saw the imbalance. One player was grinding in silence, the other was milking the spotlight with staged stunts and forced slogans. The so-called trap queen didn't take over anything, she walked into enemy territory and left with less hype than she came in with.
Kaitlyn Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star game, they've dropped by 50%.
While Reese was flooding Instagram with slogans and selfies, Kaitlyn Clark was quietly putting up historic numbers. Her 31 points and 12 assists didn't need a marketing campaign, they spoke louder than any billboard. Clark became the only player in WNBA history to ever hit that stat line, and she did it without taking shots at anyone. Her game did the talking. No, this is my city claims, no press tour, just results. That's the difference. Reese's self-hype machine was running at full speed, but it couldn't outpace what Clark did in silence. Reese wanted All-Star Weekend to be about her. She tried to position herself as the face of the league, but the numbers didn't lie. Fans weren't showing up for slogans or shoes, they were watching for real performances. Clark's excellence on the court reminded everyone what actual dominance looks like. Reese's branding stunt paled in comparison. And it exposed a deeper truth. When it comes to real MVP energy, Kaitlyn doesn't have to post about it. She just shows up and earns it.
Reebok, Angel Reese are taking shots at Kaitlyn Clark, using her as promo. Angel Reese, let's be clear here. Let's just be all the way clear here. Angel Reese is a solid basketball player. Angel Reese 100% has benefited from attaching herself to Kaitlyn Clark at every single turn. Her podcast, the first 3 episodes, all the clips promoting was bringing up Kaitlyn Clark. It was bringing up Kaitlyn Clark and all of the promo. People wanted to know what she was going to say. She used Kaitlyn Clark as promo.
The rivalry between Angel Reese and Kaitlyn Clark has always been lopsided, but now it's downright embarrassing. Reese keeps it alive like she's feeding oxygen into a fire that doesn't even exist. Clark hasn't clapped back, hasn't made shady comments, hasn't even acknowledged the beef. And yet Reese just won't let it go. Why? Because it benefits her. Being attached to Kaitlyn's name boosts views, triggers reactions, and gets people talking even if Clark never says a word. But fans are catching on. They're realizing this isn't competition, it's desperation. The narrative is no longer compelling, it's repetitive. You can only swing at someone for so long before people realize the other person isn't even in the ring. Reese wants this to be Ali versus Frazier, but Clark isn't even playing the same game. And the longer Reese pushes it, the more obvious it becomes that this feud isn't about sports, it's about staying relevant.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. Post it on Instagram. There's about 15 fans there, and Reebok put up a board. You would expect Reebok to put up a board. Let's never forget that when let's never forget the gigantic Kaitlyn Clark Nike billboard in Chicago. Let's never forget that. So if Reebok didn't put up a board for Angel Reese.
When Angel Reese set up her Reebok pop-up in Indiana, she envisioned a victory lap, a triumphant moment where the crowd would rally behind her brand. But what actually happened? Around a dozen fans showed up. The promo felt forced. The photo ops looked sad, and the backdrop Indiana, where she's never even won a game, made it even worse. She tried to claim the city, but the city didn't claim her back. It was supposed to be iconic. Instead, it felt hollow. The comparisons came fast. Kaitlyn Clark's massive Nike billboard in Chicago became the gold standard, celebrated, powerful, and organic. Reese's display? It looked like an afterthought. People joked that it resembled a middle school pep rally more than a pro athlete's campaign, and once the visuals started circulating online, the embarrassment only got worse. This wasn't a takeover. This was a loud misfire in a city that belongs to someone else.
Kaitlyn Clark has never said a negative word about Angel Reese. Kaitlyn Clark has never said a negative word, or like, to be honest, when it comes to Kaitlyn Clark, like, she did show it by her actions. Showed it by her actions. She didn't need to say, I'm taking over Chicago. She did, however, go and put up 31 and 12, set a career high with 12 assists, be the only player in the history of the WNBA ever to have 31 and 12 in a game. She did, in fact, do that and then try to hype up the Chicago crowd. So it's like, fair enough, you want to say, oh, Kaitlyn Clark did this, then show it with your actions. Go and win MVP. Go and win MVP. Don't just be like, this is my city. Don't just come in and be like, this is my city. You've never won a game. Has she won a game in Indiana? I don't think she's ever won a game in Indiana. I actually do not think she has won a pro game in Indiana.
Angel Reese didn't just try to take over the court. She tried to take over the city. But when Kaitlyn Clark got injured, the game changed overnight. What was supposed to be Reese's big breakout moment during All-Star Weekend instantly fell flat. Ticket prices nosedived nearly 50%, from $121 to just $64. It wasn't subtle, it was a collapse. The city of Indianapolis had been bracing for massive crowds, boosted hotel occupancy, and bustling local businesses. But once Clark's injury became public, fans weren't interested anymore. The buzz vanished, and suddenly, Reese was left standing under a Reebok banner with barely a dozen fans and no real excitement around her name. This wasn't just about sports, it was about money, momentum, and star power. Local vendors, bars, restaurants, and hotels all reported the same thing. The foot traffic they'd prepped for never arrived. Business owners said they lost out on a weekend's worth of income because the real draw, Kaitlyn Clark, was missing. Meanwhile, Angel tried to claim the throne, but fans weren't buying into the performance. They saw the rivalry as forced and the moment as hollow. All-Star Weekend was supposed to be a celebration, but Reese's attempt to steal the spotlight without actually earning it turned the event into a glaring reminder.
The ticket prices. The demand fell off a cliff. And it's not just the on-court product that suffers without number 22, Kaitlyn Clark. The entire weekend's economic opportunities have felt the fallout. This was conveyed with a July 18th post from NBA Central that wrote, quote, "The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48%, from $121 a ticket to $64 a ticket, after the news broke that Kaitlyn Clark won't be playing." I mean, the tickets lost 50% of its value. These numbers are confirmed by TickPick's website, currently having the All-Star Game's get-in price at $64. And a July 16th article from Front Office Sports, which was posted before Clark announced she'd be sitting out, was $121.
Without Kaitlyn Clark, the league loses its heartbeat. From the very beginning, Angel Reese's marketing strategy has followed one formula. Mention Kaitlyn Clark, go viral. Every podcast appearance, every headline, every social media post, Kaitlyn's name is always there. Fans are catching on, and they're starting to call it what it is, clout chasing. This isn't competitiveness anymore, it's reliance. Reese doesn't just use Clark's image as a rival, she's built her brand around it. And it worked for a while. She got endorsement deals, interviews, and social buzz. But now, it's backfiring. Without Clark to respond or play, the entire act feels empty, and people are tired of it. Reese's Reebok campaign was supposed to mark her official arrival as a solo brand, but instead, it proved just how dependent she is on someone else's star power. Clark didn't even show up to the All-Star Weekend, and yet her presence, or lack of it, controlled the entire narrative. Meanwhile, Reese looked lost without her. Her big promo lacked energy, lacked meaning, and lacked support. The public wants authenticity, not reheated drama.
From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Kaitlyn Clark won't be playing. These are people saying, I'm done. I don't want to watch. Kaitlyn Clark's not. I bought tickets solely to watch Kaitlyn Clark in the All-Star game. I made accommodations solely to get to Indiana to watch Kaitlyn Clark in the All-Star game. She's injured. I have no interest in that anymore. People are selling their tickets so much so they just want off of them. 121, okay. You want it for 100? Oh no, okay. I guess I gotta lower it to 80. Oh, you don't want to buy it for 80? Okay, I guess I'll lower it to 70. You don't want to buy it to 70? I guess I'll lower it to $64. The WNBA is paying attention to these trends, and they're seeing firsthand what Kaitlyn Clark is worth to this. Really unfortunate that Kaitlyn Clark missed it. The crowd would have been exploding. The crowd would have been exploding. The arena would have been exploding. Oh man, a big miss as far as the WNBA is concerned.
When you rely on someone else's name to sell your own, you're not building a brand, you're borrowing one. And the moment that person steps out of the picture, you're exposed. The problem with calling yourself the trap queen is that you better be able to back it up. And Angel Reese just hasn't. The reality is she hasn't won a single pro game in Indiana. Not in college, not in the WNBA. Yet she walked into Indianapolis like she owned it, plastering her face all over the city and posting captions like she had conquered the league. Fans were quick to point out the disconnect between the hype and the history. You can't call a city yours when your record there is 0 to everything. You can't say walk in your trap, take over your trap when you've never walked out with a win. Meanwhile, Kaitlyn Clark doesn't need to post bold slogans. She just shows up and breaks records. Her quiet dominance speaks louder than Reese's shouting ever could. While Reese was hyping up herself on Instagram, Clark was the one actually dominating on the court, setting statistical milestones and rewriting what rookie excellence looks like. Fans saw the contrast clearly. One player was chasing clicks, the other was chasing greatness. And when Clark wasn't there to be the counterpoint, Reese's whole act felt like performance art without an audience. You can't run a rivalry with silence, and Kaitlyn Clark's refusal to engage is the most powerful move she's made. She's never clapped back at Angel Reese, never called her out, and never used her name for PR. And that's what makes Reese look increasingly desperate. Every shot Angel takes just echoes in an empty gym because Clark's not even acknowledging it. And fans aren't dumb. They see the game being played. It's not tension, it's thirst. Reese has built her identity around being the anti-Clark, but Clark refuses to play that role. She's busy winning games, not winning arguments. What's worse for Reese is that Clark's silence makes every shot look petty. There's no press conference war, no Instagram feud. It's just one person throwing shade at a wall and hoping it bounces back with clicks. But when it doesn't, it exposes how weak the entire gimmick is. Reese isn't building a brand with strength. She's building it with noise. And when the person you're targeting doesn't even look your way, that noise starts sounding more like insecurity than confidence.
Continue to take shots at her, and then when them shots get fired back, nobody likes it. We don't have no videos of Kaitlyn Clark really taking shots at Angel Reese. Look at what Angel Reese and Reebok are doing for views. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. This is promo they're doing in Indianapolis, where Kaitlyn Clark plays. That is a clear shot. It's a clear shot. Like I said, this is a fake rivalry. I think you've won one game versus Kaitlyn Clark. You've never won in Indiana at all. It's just like you continue to attach yourself to her at every turn and use her as promo. Now with Reebok, she's using. This is nonstop. She has attached herself to Kaitlyn Clark at every single turn, and she has benefited. Let's be clear here. Yes, she does receive backlash. She does receive negativity, but she has benefited greatly. She has made millions of dollars off of attaching herself to Kaitlyn Clark and using her to make her brand bigger.
Well, this is absolutely a one-sided rivalry. And we've got to say it like it is. Like, we can't say Kaitlyn needs to do this, Kaitlyn needs to do that. let's be real. The only reason this is still a rivalry is because the other side of the rivalry won't stop it. And by the way, it is extremely beneficial for Angel Reese to be in this rivalry.